We have made it to the month of January here in season number 1 of the Golden State Warriors, my NBA franchise here on NBA 2K25. And we're playing some solid ball. We're 17-15, of course, with our first prospect profile of the season on deck. I'm excited to finally dive into this draft class. I know that you guys have been waiting patiently for it. And today we're finally going to take a look at some of the current top projected prospects in the 2025 draft class. But before that, though, I do want to briefly recap where our team currently stands, coming off a solid month of December. We're currently in 6th place in the Western Conference. We've been in 6th pretty much since the season started, and even though this conference has been super close, we really haven't wavered within the standings. We've been consistently average. Not many long losing streaks, not many long winning streaks. We've just been solid throughout the duration of the year. The big storyline, though, in the last episode was the development of Jonathan Kuminga. It's no secret that this team needs a high-end secondary scorer along with Steph. And going into this series, I didn't think this team had one. However, that guy might be Jonathan Kuminga, who averaged around 18 points per game on solid efficiency in the month of December. But the thing that really caught my eye with him was the high-end play that he showed. Really impressive shot making, had some games with 30-plus points. The flashes were there. As we go into this prospect profile now, it's no secret that our team is one of the oldest in the NBA. We don't have many great young players. Podziemski and Kuminga obviously could be very strong long-term pieces, but nobody else on the team is under 24 years old. In terms of our draft picks, we control pretty much all of our first-round picks in the future, but we don't have any extra picks coming in. So right now, the only first-rounder we have this year is our own, which is currently slated to be towards the middle of the first round. Now, there's still a decent shot that if we are picking in the middle of the first round, one of these players may fall to us. Maybe we look to trade up. Maybe we don't have our picks entirely because we go out and make a big splash at the trade deadline or the offseason. But nonetheless, this is a really fun group of players, and I'm excited about this being our first draft class of the series because I think some of these guys are going to be really, really good players at the next level in the NBA. There are multiple guys in consideration to be the number 1 pick, and it's not like last year where nobody really deserved it. There's 2 or 3 players in this class who I think have a real argument to be the number 1 player. According to the mock drafts, it's currently a 2-horse race between Italian wing Bartolomeo Campolo and the forward hailing from Finland, Mikko Koponen. There has been a wave of international talent entering the NBA over the last decade or so, this year more than ever. 8 of the projected top 10 picks in this draft were born outside of the United States. And we'll start with forward Mikko Koponen, hailing from Finland, currently playing for the University of Arizona. The Wildcats have churned out international talent over the last few years, and Koponen looks to be the best one yet. There's a reason why he is being looked at as arguably the top prospect in this class. It's because he is a dynamic athlete at 6'10", 230. He can run the floor. He's a good playmaker, dynamic scorer, and he can guard the 1 through the 5. The one question mark with his game is the outside shot. He doesn't really have that right now, but otherwise he looks the part of a number 1 pick, and outside of Victor Wembanyama, you can make the argument he's the best NBA prospect of the last 5 years. At 6'10", 230, he moves like a guard. He has court vision like a guard, but he has the size and length to match up with anybody defensively. However, he's not the clear number 1 pick because Italian wing Bardo Campolo might be just as good. I would argue he's an even more impressive athlete. Maybe doesn't have the size or overall skill that, say, Mikko Koponen does, but Campolo, I think, has a little bit more upside. As I said, he's a little bit more athletic. I think he's a little bit better as a finisher, and I think he's a little bit faster and more explosive as well. I don't think Bardo has quite the defensive versatility that, say, Mikko Koponen does, but I think he's a little bit more polished defensively on the perimeter, and I do think at 6'9", 220, if needed, he can guard bigger players, but he's at his best on the perimeter offensively with the ball in his hands. He can run the offense and be ball dominant, but he can also play off the ball as well, which is a major advantage to whoever picks him. I think right now these are the 2 top prospects in this draft. If I had to guess, they will go number 1 and number 2 overall. There's still a lot of really good players behind them, and we'll start with the top American-born player in this draft class, Devin Harbor from Kansas. Harbor wasn't a super highly regarded 5-star recruit. He was barely a top 50 player in the high school class of 2024, but he has been the best freshman in America. He's a dynamic shot maker, smooth lefty stroke, and he's got good size as a combo guard. 6'5", 215 pounds, drawing a lot of comparisons to Donovan Mitchell. I think offensively there's some similarities. Maybe he's not as efficient as a shooter, but the shot making is similar, the athleticism is similar. I think he's a little bit better of a playmaker coming out than Donovan Mitchell was, and he's a solid defender as well. He's one of the best athletes in this class. He's one of the best scorers in this class, and he's been one of the most productive players this season. He right now looks like the third best player in this draft, which is impressive because he really wasn't on anybody's radar coming into the year. After him, we've got Geronimo Trinidad, hailing from the Philippines and currently playing for UCLA. Trinidad is a fascinating prospect. He stands at 6'7", weighs at 170. He is skinny. And I think he can use that to his advantage, but there are obviously some cons to that as well. He's twitchy, he's wiry, and he's really quick. But obviously, when he's matched up with bigger players, they're able to use their size to match up with him. He's a solid all-around scorer. He can shoot the ball from all three levels. He's a solid playmaker, but he's got to bulk up. That's the question with him. And he is only 18 years old. There's no reason to think that he won't. But right now, he is slim. Martin Sifa is a very interesting player here, hailing from France. We've seen a French revolution over the last few years in the NBA. This season, no different. Sifa and Gordon projected top 10 picks. Lazar Badiaga and Antoine Solis also projected as possible first-rounders. We had 4 French prospects go in the first round last year, and we might have at least 4 again this year. Starting with Sifa, I believe that he has one of, if not the highest ceilings in this draft class. 6'9" with a 7'5" wingspan. Unbelievable athlete, unbelievably good defender on the perimeter. He's not a great shot maker yet and has a lot of work to do offensively. But he's got the size and athletic tools that NBA teams drool over. And if he develops, I think we could be looking at a superstar. He's got a ways to go offensively, but I think he has solid shot mechanics. I think he's a solid finisher. Obviously, he's a terrific defender already, and maybe the most athletic player in this entire draft class. Again, combining a 6'9" frame with a 7'5" wingspan. I think in terms of ceiling, he's right up there with Kaponen and Campolo at the top of this draft. And if a team uses the second or third pick on him, I really would not bat an eye. Sticking with the theme of international prospects, Lovro Walter Mihajlovic from Croatia is next up. An inconsistent shot maker who really sees the floor well, and I think gives a team really solid basketball instincts and IQ. 6'8", 217 pounds. He's a solid scorer. I wish he was a little bit better as a finisher, though, but I think he's got the athleticism to eventually be that. Really good playmaker. Up and down defensively, I wish he was a little bit more consistent on that side of the floor. But again, I think his basketball instincts make up for his questionable play there. French point guard Dennis Gordon is next up. And as I talked about earlier, the French Revolution. Here's another great French prospect likely to go in the top 10. I think Gordon has one of the highest floors of anybody projected in this first round. He really does not have any major weaknesses to his game, and I think he's going to be one of the early frontrunners for Rookie of the Year. 6'4", 190, solid scorer, solid playmaker, solid defender, solid athlete. I don't think he has a super high ceiling, though, because I think he can only tap into so much athletically, and he doesn't have any one skill that he's really good at. I think that could scare some teams off in the top 10, but I think you're looking at another highly instinctive player who's going to be able to give you good winning minutes as a rookie. Zachariah Rice from Duke is a really fun player, another one of the top American-born prospects in this draft class, and a top 3 high school recruit in the class of 2024, who so far has lived up to the billing. Really solid defender, sees the floor well for somebody who's 6'8". He's had to run the Duke offense at times, and I think he's been very solid in doing so. I love his versatility on the defensive end of the floor as well. He has the quickness to match up with guards on the perimeter. He has the size and strength to match up with bigs. He's a little inconsistent as a scorer, though. His efficiency, especially inside, has been subpar, but otherwise, he checks off all the boxes. Nicolas Papadakis is up next, playing at Michigan State. Papadakis is a fun player, another not-so-highly ranked recruit who's had a phenomenal season. Coming in at 6'5", 220 pounds, Papadakis is built like a linebacker. However, he does not have a plus wingspan, only 6'5" in that regard. Combine that with a lack of athleticism, and I do question if athletically he'll be able to hold up in the NBA, especially considering he's not a great shot creator yet. He is a good passer, though, and I do think he has a really good motor defensively. I think he could be a high-end role player, and if the shot making comes, I think he could be really good, but we haven't seen the shot making at a consistently high level at Michigan State. Laszlo Zonka is one of the most fascinating prospects in this draft to me, currently playing in the Overtime Elite program, hailing from Hungary. 6'9", 230 pounds. He is built like a grown man. He already has an NBA body. You'd think he'd be one of the strongest, most physical players in the draft, but that's really not the case. He doesn't know how to play with strength yet. He's a solid perimeter defender. He's a solid scorer. But I wish he was more of a bruising physical type. For those of you who watched the Trailblazers series, you know Darius Springer, one with strength, one with toughness. Zonka's built pretty similar physically, but he doesn't play like Springer at all. I wish he did, because I think he'd be regarded as one of the top 5 prospects in this draft if he knew how to use his strength as a finisher around the basket, scoring, and contact. Let's now look at these guys outside of the top 10 who very well could be in our draft range if everything holds up. And that starts with Francis Gardner-Jones from Memphis. This kid is a walking bucket, but as good as he is offensively, he's equally not good on defense. On this possession, he relies on his athleticism and his long arms to force the shot contest, but he makes up for it immediately, driving to the basket and making a tough layup in contact. He's one of the best finishers in this draft class, and I think the overall outside shot could be really good as well. He's a little bit inefficient from 3. He takes a few too many tough shots, but still, the impressive shot-making profile is there. Again, though, on defense, he's a traffic cone. And until proven otherwise, I think he's a microwave 6-man. Think of a Jamal Crawford type, a Cam Thomas type. But I think the upside is there defensively because he's got the size and length to do it. 6'6" with a 7-foot wingspan. KJ Jeffries is a really fun player out of the University of Oregon. I think he's a little bit raw, but I think he's got the upside to be quite good. 6'10", around 225 pounds. He's big, he's strong, he's physical. Doesn't have the outside shot yet. That's an area of this game that he's looking to improve upon. I think the shot mechanics are there to where he could become a good shooter one day. Defensively, again, not great, but I think he's got the athleticism, I think he's got the motor, and I think he's got the versatility to eventually be a good perimeter and interior defender. It's just about cleaning up the consistency on that area of the floor. Of course, we already talked about one Kansas guard earlier with Devin Harbor, but he's got a backcourt mate who's also projected to go in the lottery, that being Shaedon Barnabas IV, hailing from Hawaii. There's a lot of good Kansas prospects in this draft. It's almost like you guys making the custom players know my biases and know that I'm more likely to make the Kansas prospects good. I'll have no further comment on whether that's true or not, but I will point out that Shaedon Barnabas is a really talented player who I think belongs in the lottery. Really good finisher, solid shooter, solid defensive player. I think this is another guy who's going to give you good minutes as a rookie. Even though he's 18 years old, he plays like he's 28 years old. He's a really smart player. Philip Leopold from Slovenia is a guy who I think is a little bit raw, but I really like the ceiling. I really like the athletic profile. Really, really good defensive player. One of the best defensive prospects in this draft class. I think he's got a good ability to see the floor. I think he's a solid finisher. And he's not only a really good mid-range shooter, but he's also a really good mid-range shot creator. As you can see there, creating space from around 10 to 15 feet away from the basket. That's his game. The mid-range shot is a lost art in today's NBA. Many people argue it's the least efficient shot because it's not inside the basket, but it's also not going to get you 3 points. And maybe that's true. But Philip Leopold's ability to get himself open with or without the ball in his hands and consistently score from the mid-range is really fun to watch. The last prospect we're going to talk about is Kalu Oduga from Stanford. Look at the block there. His quickness and mobility at his size is really impressive. The ability to run the rim, but also show off his physicality and toughness as a scorer. Even though we haven't gone over any centers yet, I don't think it's a bad center class. There's a lot of really good bigs projected shortly after this range. Oduga's a really good scorer from 15 feet. He's a really good defender, and I think he's got an outside game on both ends of the floor. He's got a little bit of a three-point shot, and I think he can hang athletically with quicker players outside the paint. I think he's going to go a lot earlier than 15th. His stock is rising. He's had a great season this year at Stanford. Again, it's a really fun group of players, but keep in mind the draft board is ever changing. How prospects perform this year will determine if they move up and down the draft board. There's a lot of really good prospects who we have not gone over yet, who I'm excited to talk about later in the regular season. But for now, our focus returns to the Warriors themselves, and I think we're going to play this game against the 76ers on national television. And I chose this game because I don't think they're a good matchup for us, and I'm curious to see how we're going to be able to handle Joel Embiid, who I believe right now is the best scorer in the league. Now, interestingly, he's not even leading the Sixers in points. Tyrese Maxey's averaging nearly 30 a game, and we can't forget that they have Paul George as well. That is a frightening big three, and for whichever team has the honor of beating these guys in the second round this year, I know it's going to be a major challenge. But in all seriousness, who do we have to guard Joel Embiid? Again, our tallest player is 6'9". Embiid is one of the most impressive scoring big men in the history of the NBA. Obviously, it's a little bit too early to put him in conversations with guys like Shaq and Wilt and whatnot, but are there 7 or 8 better all-time scoring bigs than Joel Embiid? Someone enlighten me, because I don't think the answer to that question is yes. Nonetheless, he'll meet up with Kevon Looney for the tip, and it's actually won by Looney. Okay. I would have thought the 4-inch difference would have mattered there. 4 inches is a lot. Story of my life. Here comes Tyrese Maxey with it on the drive. He's blocked. DeAnthony Melton with the early snuff. Melton getting the start for more defense today. Draymond on the other end makes the layup with the foul and one. Caleb Martin called for the foul. Draymond Wood missed the free throw, however, as Paul George has it in the corner. Out to Eric Gordon off the screen. Misses for 3. Embiid with the rebound. Kicks it to George in the corner. And Paul George gets the scoring started for the Sixers. They lead it 3-2. Embiid guarded by Curry. It's stripped away. Embiid gets it back and hits the floater. Once I saw that matchup, I knew that possession was kind of doomed. There's not much Steph Curry can do, and to be fair, he did almost get the stop as he sends it inside for Kevon Looney on the pick and roll, who dunks it over Joel Embiid. Embiid certainly struggled on that possession, but he is one of the best defending bigs in the league. As Tyrese Maxey gets off the screen with the triple. Maxey has exploded as a scorer this year, again averaging nearly 30 a game. With all the scorers on this team, that is impressive as this one is stolen away. Here comes Eric Gordon with it, inside for Paul George. Step back, that one is good. I don't know why George felt the need to take an off-balance shot 3 feet away from the basket, but he made it, so it works. Here's Curry on the drive, finally on the board after missing his first 4 shots of the game. As it's 12-6. Maxey inside, no good. Nice defense by Golden State, looking to get into a groove offensively in what's been a slow start. Draymond out to Kuminga. Right wing 3 is good. And Jonathan Kuminga is on the board, looking to continue his hot streak over the last month or so. 3-point game. Gordon with it at the top of the key. Gets it over to Paul George, who's off to a hot start for the 76ers. He has scored over half their points so far. Draymond with it in the corner for Curry, looking for the screen. Curry wide open. That one will fall. An impressive shot on the move from Steph Curry as it is 17-14. Curry with it inside, but it's stolen away by Embiid. Here comes the Sixers on the other end. Paul George, step back. That one is good. Paul George's game is so smooth. It's no secret why the current generation of NBA prospects are all obsessed with Paul George. He's arguably my favorite player of all time, too, as Trace Jackson Davis is in with the slam off the assist from Curry. 21-16, George in the corner. Late contest from Wiggins. Doesn't matter. Another one for PG. He's got 13 with a trio of triples. Podziemski now from beyond the arc. That one is good. He's got 5 coming off the bench off of another assist from Curry, who's been good as a passer despite his shooting struggles. George, another one. They cannot stop him. Paul George is in fuego. 27-19. Maxey now no good. Andre Drummond with the rebound. Back out to Maxey, and that possession was saved by the offensive rebound from Andre Drummond. Still a very capable backup big in today's league. Kyle Anderson with it on the drive. He is in with the slam. An impressive play by Anderson. The lead down to 11. A lot of defensive struggles early in this one for Golden State. George with two guys in his face. It doesn't matter. Another three for Paul George. 14-point Philadelphia lead. Here's Curry with it out to Anderson. Looks to get one right back, and he does. Kyle Anderson with the triple. 35-24 now. Here is Curry with it, guarded by Maxey. Quick three. That one will fall. The offense seems to be getting a little bit more comfortable after a slow start. 35-27. Here's Eric Gordon with it on the wing. Back to Maxey. Maxey looking to drive. His shot is blocked! Trace Jackson Davis with the snuff. Curry to Podziemski in the corner to Wiggins. No good, but Trace Jackson Davis is there with the rebound and the putback. What a sequence for TJD with the denial, and then on the other end with the offensive rebound and the putback. This was a 14-point lead, but the Warriors go on a 9-0 run to end the quarter and cut the lead to 5. 35-30 through 1. The Sixers still with the lead. It's been the Paul George show so far. As we move into the second, the talented rookie out of Duke, Jared McCain, is there with the slam. 39-32. Podziemski tries to send it over, but it's intercepted by the former Warrior Kelly Oubre. To Lowry, inside for McCain, and the layup is good, and the rookie has an early 4. Moses Moody brings it up for Golden State, guarded by the BBL Big Booty Lowry. In the corner for Kuminga, who hits the 3. Another triple for Jonathan Kuminga. 41-35. Yabusele inside for Joel Embiid. Embiid bullying Kevon Looney in what otherwise has been a fairly slow start for Embiid. We haven't been able to stop Paul George, but we have stopped Joel. There's Kuminga! Powerful slam as he gets some space on the baseline. Blows by Martin and sends it home. 45-37. Oubre out to Eric Gordon. That one is no good. Embiid with the offensive rebound, and after a slow first quarter, Embiid has awoken here in the second. Melton, the former Sixer, out to Kuminga in the corner. He's got 8 on perfect shooting. Mid-ranger will fall. Another quick start for Jonathan Kuminga. He's a perfect 4 for 4 so far. 49-39. Kuminga with it. Embiid trailing behind. Kuminga layup with the foul. And one for the cum bucket. 49-42. He's got 13 now, still on perfect shooting. Maxey out to Paul George on the screen, who comes right back into the game, and it doesn't look like he's missed a beat. 10-point lead. George, guarded by Melton, gets it over to Eric Gordon. Gordon, that one will fall despite Draymond smothering him defensively. 13-point lead for the 76ers. Draymond with it on the drive. Sends it in the corner for Kuminga. Kuminga steps beyond the three-point line. Heat check. Bang! 16 for Kuminga, and he still has not missed. It looks like this is going to be another one of those really impressive scoring nights from him. Podziemski throws it up, and it's good. And one. Did he just get slapped in the face? Okay, whatever. 57-48 now. Gordon, who was the one who slapped him, hits a 3 on the very next possession. Philly leads by a dozen. Gordon with it with around a minute and a half in the second. On the drive, layup, and the foul. And one for Eric Gordon. The veteran's had a strong start in his 17th season out of the University of Indiana. Kuminga, another 3! 19 points for Kuminga. He still has not missed, by the way. But the Sixers look to get one right back. They don't, but it won't matter. Andre Drummond doing mop-up duty inside as it's 65-51. Melton with it on the drive. Layup with the foul. Another and one. This time to Anthony Melton, his first basket of the game. George, another 3, another make! Paul George has 31 here in the first half. 68-54. Curry calls for an ISO. Only 8 points. 3 of 11 shooting so far for Steph. That one no good, and that'll wrap up the first half. It has been the Paul George show. 68-54 in favor of the Sixers, while this woman is going to shoot a half-court shot for $10,000. I haven't seen this animation yet, so I figured, why not take a look at it? Doesn't look the most athletic. I am betting that this shot will not even hit the rim. For 10 grand. Oh, she almost made it! Wow. I'm impressed. I think we had the female Steph Curry out here. We need some more secondary scoring. Can we offer this lady a contract? The form looked good. The shot almost went in. She's probably not a great defender, but it's not like the guys out there have done a better job. The Sixers are on pace for 136 points today. Paul George has been an animal, and the most unfortunate part about this is that Paul George almost signed with the Warriors this offseason. Had he done so, I probably would have never picked this team for this series, so Warriors fans, if you're looking for something to hold your hat on, there you go. Into the second half, Golden State's got to get moving quickly as Caleb Martin is in for the layup. He's had a strong career with Miami before signing a 4-year team-friendly deal with the Sixers in the offseason as Curry is in for the layup. Curry's got to get going after a rough first half, 3 of 12 shooting from the field as Melton strips it away from Gordon. In transition, sends it over to Curry. Layup is tipped by Embiid. Wiggins gets it back, and the putback is good. Nice play there by Embiid's former college teammate at Kansas, Rock Chalk, Andrew Wiggins. George for 3, cannot leave him that much space. He has been automatic from deep today. 75-58, Melton with it, and that one is sent off the rim. I don't think it was tipped. I think it was just a bad shot. On the other end, Maxey wide open. Eric Gordon hits another 3, and the lead is at 20. The Sixers could turn this into a blowout if Golden State doesn't get this together quickly. Andrew Wiggins with it on the drive. Oh my goodness! That was a horrible possession. Fitting block at the end by Embiid. Golden State does have 3 seconds on the shot clock. They'll go for the quick inbound. Curry, 3. That one is good. It may have been an ugly possession, but it ends with 3 points, so we can't really complain. 79-61, here's Pods back out to Curry. Another 3, and here comes Wardell. Back-to-back triples for Steph as Maxey has it inside, and that one is snuffed. Trace Jackson-Davis got a hand on it. In transition, Podziemski with it. Out to Curry on the drive. Curry, layup, and 1! Stephen Curry is beginning to take over. Pending the 3-throw, the lead will likely be brought down to 12. Steph Curry has taken over this game. He was quiet early in this one, but he has figured something out. He started 4 of 13. Since then, he's made 3 of his last 3. Fittingly, it's Paul George who ends the rut for Philadelphia. That one is good. 81-67. Draymond guarded by Maxey. Look at the size mismatch. No good. Gets his own rebound, though, and gets the putback. His first points of the game since the very first basket a minute into the first quarter. 83-69. Nice. Speaking of nice, look at Podziemski going up there. He's got 11 on solid efficiency, and the lead is back at a dozen. Caleb Martin on the wing gets it to Embiid, playing bully ball with Trace Jackson-Davis, and look, there's nothing TJD could have done there. Embiid is just bigger and stronger. 85-71, here's Curry with it out to Podziemski, open 3. That one will fall. Another triple for Podziemski. He's got 14. As it's 85-74, 4:20 left to go in the third. Kelly Oubre on the screen. That one is good. Poor defense there by another former Sixer, Buddy Hield, who was with the team last year at the trade deadline. Andre Drummond, pump fake. Drummond, that one is no good, but he gets the putback and throws it down over Trace Jackson-Davis. What a play there by the big man. 89-76. Curry thinks about the shot, won't take. In the corner, Podziemski with another 3. He's really shot it well from deep today, and the lead is within 10. Golden State on a 21-11 run right now as Maxey looks to silence the crowd. He cannot, missing the 3. Drummond with the rebound out to Kelly Oubre, and the layup is good. Nice play there from Oubre. Another Jayhawk, Rock Chalk. 91-79, Gordon with it. Jumper, no good. Another offensive rebound for Drummond and another putback. The Sixers are dominating the glass. Who would have thought with Joel Embiid and Andre Drummond as the bigs going up against a team who is nobody taller than 6'9". Yabusele out to Maxey for 3. That one is good, and the Sixers are right back up by 16. Moses Moody looks for the screen out to Kuminga. Guarded by Maxey on the drive. Layup is good. 22 now for Kuminga. Since we last talked about him, he has missed a couple of shots. Unfortunately, the perfect efficiency is gone as Maxey has it with the steal. On the other end, Maxey takes it himself. Layup is good for Tyrese, and it's an 18-point lead. Golden State has it here on the baseline looking to inbound. Kuminga with the backdoor cut, and Gershon Yabusele did not see it coming. Kuminga's in for the slam, 100-84. Maxey throws up a three, and it's good. Impressive shot for Tyrese Maxey. He's been the top scorer in this third quarter, with Paul George quieting down. He only had 3 points in the third. 103-84. Curry with it. Step back, long two, no good. And that'll wrap up the third. There were some good moments for Golden State in this quarter, but we're still down by 19. The defense still is not playing well. 103-86 here in the fourth. Golden State's got to get something going quickly if they want to come back. Kuminga darts by Oubre. He is in for the slam. Lead sits at 15. Kuminga sits at 26. Here is Anderson on the baseline. Andrew Wiggins guarded by Lowry. That is a mismatch, and Wiggins knows it as he sends the layup up top over him. 13-point game. Buddy Hield thinks about the three. Won't take. He's intercepted by the BBL. Lowry in transition with nobody ahead of him. We know Kyle Anderson's not catching up. His jump shot's not the only thing that was slow on that possession. 15-point game. Wiggins guarded by Lowry. Again, why did the Sixers keep going back to this mismatch? Andrew Wiggins will exploit it every chance he gets. He misses, but he grabs his own rebound, and the Warriors will have an opportunity to reset the possession. Buddy Hield out to Wiggins in the corner. This is a wide open shot because Wiggins is like 7 inches taller. He hits the three. 10-point game. A big start to the fourth for Golden State. Embiid has Gershon Yabusele wide open. The Frenchman, hits the three. Former first-rounder with the Celtics, has spent the past few years overseas, had a great run in the Olympics, bringing him back to the NBA as Buddy Hield is there with the dunk. 11-point game. Joel Embiid wide open. What happened there? It looked like Buddy Hield ran into someone. It might have been his own teammate. I'm not even sure. Why is Buddy Hield matched up with Embiid to begin with is the real question. Steve Kerr, what are we cooking? Kyle Lowry is there with the floater. Not the only thing floating from Kyle Lowry on that possession. 15-point game now with around 5 minutes to go. Warriors got to get something going fast or else this game could end as Curry is there with the layup. 13-point game. Maxey gets it over to Eric Gordon on the wing. Looking for the screen from Joel. Gordon inside with the feed for Embiid. Layup is good. 15-point lead. Oubre is intercepted by Buddy Hield with a dime for Curry. That looked a little Mahomey. The layup is good. 13-point lead now. 114-101. Gordon gets it over to Kelly Oubre, guarded by Wiggins. He finds Embiid for three, and it's good. What's impressive about Joel Embiid is his ability to go out beyond the three-point line and shoot it at a high level. Obviously, he's at his best close to the basket, but he can sling it as well. Buddy Hield gets a three right back. His first triple of the night, 13-point game. Curry pull-up triple is good. He's got 30, albeit on like 28 shots, but still, 30 is 30. Game is game, right? 10-point lead. Maxey layup is good with the left hand. Big make for Tyrese Maxey, and the lead is at a dozen. Another basket here could end it. George for three, no good. Embiid with the rebound, put back, no good. Another rebound and a poster over two defenders for Joel Embiid, and that might be the dagger. A big play there by the former MVP. 127-109. Warriors looking for one more shot. It's Draymond, step back at the buzzer, and it's good, but he did not get it off in time. Not that it's going to matter. 127-109, your final. The Sixers take this one here in Golden State. Philadelphia was able to get control in the first quarter. Paul George had over 20 in that first frame, and they never looked back. We had some impressive runs. We brought the lead to 10 at points in the second half, but it wasn't enough. Curry with 30 on 28 shots. Kuminga with 26 on 12 shots. Very noticeable difference there of efficiency. Another great game from Jonathan Kuminga, who continues to really impress me as a secondary scorer. As for the Sixers, Paul George was hot early, definitely quieted down in the second half, and it's not that he didn't shoot the ball well late, it's just that he didn't shoot it often. 14 of 22 overall, 8 of 14 from 3. 24 for Maxey, 20 and 16 for Joel. Andre Drummond was also really good, 8 points, 12 boards, 6 on the offensive glass. Philadelphia's offense was humming those first three quarters, and even though they slowed down in the fourth, it didn't matter because they were up by enough. We're going to simulate through these next few weeks. Got some fun matchups upcoming. The Grizzlies, the Kings, and the Heat at home, followed by a 4-game road trip, and then returning at home against Washington. In this game against the Sixers, late in the third, Trace Jackson-Davis suffered a sprained right ankle. That's why he didn't play at all in the fourth. His injury would last one day. He'll be fine However, you know who won't be fine? Steph Curry, hyperextended left knee in our game against, I believe, Detroit. He'll be out for a week or two. I'm excited to see Jonathan Kuminga, though, as the full-time #1 scorer. Over his last 6 games, he has scored at least 24 points. He had 39 in our win against Miami. I'm excited to see him as the #1 option. We're going to sign some more guard depth with Curry getting hurt. I'm going to sign former Final Four MVP Jared Butler. He's not really going to play a whole lot, but it gets us another body in the building. I think these next few games are going to be really telling on what Kuminga looks like as an alpha scorer and how the team performs without Curry. When Curry hasn't played, our team has actually held up pretty well this season, and that trend continued. In the 4 games we did have him, we went 2-2, including a loss against Detroit. Okay, that's a little bit odd. 31 for Cade. Big game for Duren. Curry played really well. 27 points before getting hurt. Kuminga finished with 27, and Buddy Hield's shooting splits make my eyes bleed. We went 3-1 without Steph, including wins against the Pacers and the Wolves. Kuminga played better with Curry, though. It's not like he shot the ball that poorly, though. 16-10 here, but on fine efficiency. Really good game against Minnesota with 26, and then 35 against the Wizards, but on 35 shots. A guy who really stood out, though, is Trayce Jackson-Davis. I'm not really sure how he's getting all these minutes, but he's playing well with them, and I feel like he's beginning to pass Kevon Looney as the big for this team. He's averaged 12, 9, and 2 here in the month of January. Podziemski, meanwhile, only played 8 minutes, and that was not by design. Broken hand. He'll be out for 4 to 6 weeks, and unfortunately, I think it's going to be closer to 6 weeks. He might not return until early March. We have now played 41 games, which is the official halfway point of the NBA season, and currently we're 22-19. We're still in 6th place. We're tied, though, with New Orleans for 5th and the Spurs for 7th, so we're not comfortably in 6th, but we've been in 6th the entire season, and if we end there, that means we will make the playoffs, which would be pretty awesome. Next episode, I'm going to start to talk about the trade deadline. We're going to look at some potential trade targets for us, whether that's this year at the deadline or within the upcoming seasons if we want to make a big splash. Get a true second star with Steph Curry before he retires, or do we want to plan for the future, or do we want to get some really good role players to help this team for the immediate future without selling the farm? Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought of the prospect profile down below in the comments. Which prospects I went over are some of your favorites. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.